Hello, I'm Kendra Scott, and welcome to this edition of Issues and Insights, the show that keeps you up to date on all the great things going on in our community. Well, with the recent snow, I think we've definitely felt the seasons change and know that the holidays are fast approaching and, of course, more winter weather. With all of that, there are so many things to talk about and think about as we change seasons. So here today to share with us about some important topics that you need to know from the Radcliff Police Department, we are thrilled to have Lieutenant Mike Holman and Captain Mark Skees. Welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Hey,
Glad to see
for
y'all.
having us.
Well, thank you for taking time to be here because there is a lot going on this time of year. Y'all are always busy, but it's the season where things will ramp up and lots of new activities and so many great programs. I think people don't often realize what community policing is and don't realize how involved you all are. You do way more than just traffic stops, solve crimes, the back to school type events or Christmas events. So you have a great program called Handle with Care. So tell us a little bit about that today.
We do. We've embraced this program, and we felt a need for it. It actually first was initiated in West Virginia, and we took a look at this program last year along with the Elizabethtown Police Department. I'm sure many cities across Kentucky, and we felt a need for this. That often we as officers respond to a call, and most of the time these crimes are done by adults, but it doesn't mean that the children aren't affected in some way or another. So when we respond to these, whether it be a assault, domestic violence, to serve a warrant, once we get there, our priority we're thinking is our safety and the public safety once we respond. But at that point, we realize that hey, there's kids here, and they may be crying, maybe in another room, but somehow they could be affected. We know that, and we want to make sure they're taken care of that evening, but we don't often think about the next day. What happens to them then? They're going to school. What kind of shape are they in? How are they going to respond? What kind of trauma? What did the trauma do to them? So this program, that's where Handle with Care comes in. And it's a very simple program, but we felt that it was very important. Too often the kids may go to school and teachers not understand. I think at that point they may know what's going on, but they may not have known what happened in their life that night before. So with this program, it's a simple form I'll show you that we can do and fill out and leave with the school the next day if little Johnny has, been traumatized maybe that evening or been a witness to his parents maybe being arrested, maybe a domestic violence situation that they were in. So at that point, the school will look at that, and they have this form, and they can say, it's very simple. I think I can show that right now.
What a great idea, because we so often see the headlines and we don't think about the little ones that were left behind that may be involved in the household, and we don't expect them just to, kids are resilient, they bounce back and go to school the next day.
Right, that's right. This form is a one-page form, and it merely states little Johnny on there, the child's name, the age, the incident, and the time that it occurred. And we make sure that after that incident or that trauma occurred the night before, we want to get that to the school the next day on the onset of school or the child care facility that they attend. So once the school gets that, the officials, they'll let the teachers know that little Johnny may have had that happen the night before, and maybe because he's acting out or not responding or inattentive, hey, he needs some extra care, Take some special care with that child. This is maybe what is happening. Now, we don't go into what occurred. We just simply say, handle that child with care. And then at that point, we have done that, and the school can look and say, hey, does this child need some more, counseling? Whatever their needs may be. Yeah. So we felt that was very important. And our job don't just end there. This is important to get that to them. The schools will take over from there. But we also we want to, as officers, go into the schools, not even just when that happened. We want to let the children know, sit down at lunch with them, walk through the schools that, come to us if you need help. This uniform, don't be scared of it. We've got to have relationships that are very strong. So I think this program helps us all the way with that, and our continued education with them by interacting. That's very important.
It really is. So how long has it already taken effect?
Yeah, well, they understand what the program is. They thought it was a wonderful thing because they've realized, and they said, is that kid just a bad seed, or what's going on?
Right.
Well, you know, a lot of times you don't understand what happened that kid went through the night before, and it can be very traumatizing. So they look at it now and they say, okay, we got a name. You know, I understand we understand that this child needs a little bit more care than somebody else right now, and we need to pay attention to that.
And give them that TLC.
That's
Is it
correct.
for all students? I mean, if it's a high schooler or a middle schooler?
It can be for anyone. It can be anyone that attends a school or a daycare facility, child care, you know, or anything like that. So yeah, there's no age limit, I don't believe, on that. So
great.
yeah,
I love
think
that.
it's going to be a great program. I think it's going to help the children thrive. You know, they need to be productive, and with this trauma that maybe they're getting, and without help or without the knowledge of knowing that, hey, this child needs a little more care, they may not be as productive. They may not thrive. We want them to learn and continue to be productive in society.
Right,
So,
and a kid may not go to school and share what
Yeah,
happened
that's
at home the
correct.
night
That's
before. They're
correct.
not
They-
going to immediately come and say, guess what, Mom and Dad got arrested last
That's
night.
correct.
You know, they might just, like you said, they
they
may
may
act
bottle
out.
up and just,
Right.
or just, you know, become unresponsive and just, you know.
And there's
so.
a reason why. So, what a great idea. So I believe that you brought a video today
I
as
did.
well.
We brought a video, and I think we're going to show that. And that'll give a little bit of overview on it. It's not very long, but that'll let you know, what this program does and how it initiated.
Okay.
Yeah.
My mother and my brother were murdered in front of me. He put the gun to my head, and he had me beg for my life. I was 10. I just turned 10.
It's hard to come out and say that I was a victim and that I was abused, especially when you're little, because it's like a big secret that's always on your back and that you never know when it's going to come out.
The image of my brother falling on that concrete floor and people stepping and just kicking with shoes on his face, I couldn't get that image out of my head.
Trauma is an overwhelming event. It takes away our safety, it creates a sense of helplessness, and it continues to affect our perception of our reality.
Some of the telltale signs of trauma are quite evident. Many of these symptoms, it's not that we don't see them, it's that we don't put together the entire sort of picture of what trauma is. Inability to sleep or interrupted sleep, inability to focus on what's going on, really not able to attend to learning. Adults need to be aware of children who are exposed to violence and intervene early and stop it.
I don't like the environment that I stay in. People getting killed every day, drug deals, people getting snatched, raped, cut up.
Whether it is a child who witnesses violence or a child who is the victim, you can't be fearful and be able to live your normal life. You have to be able to think clearly, and when you're traumatized, you can't do that.
Violence continues then to affect a child in their perception of their community, of their family. The danger is right around the corner. And the brain gets wired to expect danger.
My dad started actually physically beating me to the point to where I'd go to school with covered in bruises. I don't know how many times I've been threatened to be killed by my own dad.
My brother got shot in the head. He ain't make it.
It makes you afraid at times. It makes you feel that, oh my God, you know what, I just lost a friend, I just lost a family member. It just makes you feel that, hey, I could die next, I could be the next one dead.
What trauma does is it triggers what's called the amygdala in the brain, which is our fight, flight, freeze center.
And it truly is a change in the brain and a change in the stress hormones that are flowing through the body.
All our brains have what we call alarm systems. Because the brain now has been wired for danger and it's triggered into this fight-flight, we don't just get over a traumatic event. It continues to impact us.
I started hearing my mom scream in the middle of the night. And it got to the point where he started like beating me and my sisters. I let my anger build up, didn't talk to anybody about it.
When you hold everything aside, it's like a bomb and it's like you're ready to explode and just somebody push that last button.
Most kids who've experienced violence oftentimes have experienced multiple types of violence. In the kids we see, the average number of different types of violent trauma is 4. And so complex trauma then affects multiple areas of the brain because it's ongoing.
Maybe it's gang warfare, maybe it's drug use and abuse in the family, maybe it's domestic violence, maybe it's bullying at school. And if there is a layering effect of cumulative violence, it changes literally the DNA.
It all started off with the hugging game. He would take us into his room. We would sit on his lap and he would hug us, and we weren't supposed to tell anyone.
When I was 5, I would have to leave kindergartner class and go home and have sex with this man who was in his 50s. I remember the long walk home and crying and falling down and having to get back up and walking on.
Child sexual abuse exists in the neighborhood, exists unfortunately at our schools, at our churches, at our homes, everywhere. And there are children out there suffering.
My first assault was in high school. I met a guy at the church and he wanted to be my friend. I thought it'd be great. And instead he assaulted me and I felt very scared.
When you have a child that doesn't get to work through that abuse in an appropriate manner, that abuse doesn't go away. It lives in that child.
Exposure to violence in childhood has been found to be associated with a really unbelievable range of long-term impacts.
Very young children who are exposed to violence many times have difficulty in establishing a trusting relationship. These children have fears.
You're twice as likely to develop depression. You're probably 3 times as likely to develop some type of anxiety disorder.
As they move into school age, they may have very, very serious behavior problems. As we look at adolescence, we see children running away. Sometimes children may be involved in the juvenile justice system, which puts the child at risk for being an adult offender. And so the cost of violence is staggering.
I felt isolated. Nobody knew what I was going through. To go 3 years without talking about it, I imploded.
Finally, after stressing and keeping everything bottled up and everything building up, I just finally broke down one day and attempted suicide.
Suicide is the 3rd leading cause of death of children and adolescents in this country. We always ask in every case, what role might child abuse have played?
My mother, she knew that stuff was going on, but it just seemed like she didn't really care. She never stopped that abuse. And to this day, I've never forgotten what some of my family members have done to me.
These are traumatized kids, and so how do we then, as adults, professionals, caregivers, put a system around children that really is trauma-informed?
Happy feeling, good job, okay?
What do we do differently to help rewire their brain? And then ultimately, how do we build capacity in order to really help our kids?
Everybody come together, whether it's in the community, in the home, in the school, wherever children are, and child by child, think of ways in which we can intervene early and educate people about what children need in order to grow, to thrive, and to continue to be resilient human beings.
And thank you for sharing that. That was really cool.
You're
so
welcome.
what a great program. So we adopted that from West Virginia.
We did.
And brought it here. And so we were talking about, we think it'll probably spread like wildfire because other departments are already picking up and doing it as well.
Yeah, I'm very sure Elizabethtown Police Department, they were in meetings with us, with school officials and things last year, and I know they've already implemented in their school system. So, and I'm sure as well as other communities and cities in the state. So I think it's going to be very productive, and it's going to help these children, continue their education and get the help they may need if they were traumatized.
That's awesome. So when every officer goes out, they're armed with these forms.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, everybody will have these. This will be completed, that evening once something that occurs. Now the next day, that will be taken to the schools or wherever that child may attend at the onset of school before it even starts.
Awesome.
So we'll have that in their hands before that child arrives.
That's
so
wonderful.
We have Sergeant Brandon Jones. He has assisted us, and he's taken a little bit of initiative on this and has kind of went into the schools also, explained the situation along with us, and what this does and what you'll be getting, which is it's very simple, just one little sheet of paper, but it means so much.
It really does. Yeah, just I love the title, Handle with Care.
I think
they
so.
just need a little
Yeah.
extra TLC
Yeah.
that day. Handle them with care because they've had a very traumatic evening. It wasn't this is the reason why their homework didn't get done.
That's right.
They had some stuff going on.
They may be sleeping in class, whatever it is.
Right,
they've had a bad night.
Give them that little bit of love. And you all do programs for kids all throughout the year, as we know. We know
right.
Shop with a Cop is coming up, so if you would like to talk a little bit about that, we know that's a great program.
Turn that over to Lieutenant Holman.
That'll be December 7th at Walmart in Radcliff. We get our shopping list from the Hardin County schools every year. They supply us with a list of names that are derived from the family resource coordinators in the schools, and we have a really good time and get to help some kids out.
It is. It's so much fun. The kids absolutely love it, and it's what you're saying about you guys are the good guys. You're in blue, and you're their buddies and their friend, and
to see their
help them pick out their
faces
picture.
when we arrive at the stores, and they go shopping with us and put their stuff in the carts.
And we always have folks step up and help us out with shopping every year. So it's awesome.
That's great.
And Walmart Radcliff is really great. They're really on it. They're a very good partner.
Well, they have everything at Walmart, so if
True.
you can't get it there.
That's true.
That's correct.
Is it too late for someone if they wanted to make a donation or contribute to the program?
Absolutely not. They could drop that off at the police department Monday through Friday, well, any day of the week actually, and it'll get to the FOP and it'll be added to the fund.
Awesome. Yeah, because you can never have too much,
Right, no.
Tis the season, so.
Take all we can get. Last year was a huge outing. I couldn't tell you how many children we helped, but it was wonderful. So.
Yeah, it's a lot of kids.
Yeah,
I've
it's great.
seen it. Yeah, I've learned to do not go shopping at Radcliff Walmart at that time when y'all were there.
We're usually done by 9.
Because you're everywhere.
We start early and we're done by 9. So.
Yes, that's pretty cool. So, well, speaking of shopping, that is also one of my favorite topics, but 'tis the season for that as well. Black Friday is approaching. Cyber Monday, Super Saturday, all the days are coming, and so we really have to be mindful. I'm so glad y'all are here just to talk about some of the safety tips when we're shopping. We're going to talk about shopping online, but shopping out in public, carrying all your bags when you're at the different stores, all those good things. The porch pirates, there's so many issues. So we'll just take them one by one, but talk a little bit about things we need to be mindful of as we are holiday shopping, getting underway.
Well, there's several things that we can do to protect ourselves. Thieves are generally opportunists, and they'll seize the opportunity to help themselves with your belongings. Some tips that we give is shop with a partner. Don't go shopping by yourself. Two's better than one.
True.
And what you're trying to do is make yourself, sorry for the phrase, a harder target. And the more prepared you are, the harder target you're going to be for an opportunist. If you're shopping by yourself, you're just putting yourself out there, basically. If you have small children, it's a really, really good idea to leave them with a trusted babysitter. If you have to take them with you, it's imperative that they know if they get separated from mom or dad, they need to find a store clerk. When you go in stores like Walmart, Target, Lowe's, any of the stores, all their customer service centers are in the front of the store. So make sure the kids know where those are at. If they can't find an associate, they can always get to that area, hopefully.
Very smart.
When you go shopping, it's a really good idea. If you can get by without carrying a purse, carry your cell phone, a credit card, and your ID in your pockets.
Oh, I'm in trouble.
If you got to carry a purse,
I do always have
we
a
have a
purse.
suggestion for you, Kendra.
Okay, please,
we have a
thank you.
suggestion just for you.
Okay.
If you have to carry a purse, and my wife actually does this, and a couple years ago I noticed it, and I was like, hey, that's a really good idea. She has a bag that it's got a long strap on it, and she carries it over her shoulder and her neck, and she carries it around the front.
There you go. Crossbody.
Crossbody. And her purse is always in the front of her. A couple years ago, I was like, why do you do that? She goes, can't take it off of me. And I was like, okay, then that's what
There
that's
you
good.
go. Good training, wife.
It's just so easy for you to leave your purse in a shopping cart,
Yes.
or to leave it
Most
in the
of us
seat.
are notorious for doing
Every time I go shopping with my wife, I see people leave items in the cart that could be stolen. A lot of times we have to buy items in different sections of the store, and if you leave that item in your cart, it's paid for. And if you turn your back, it could be somebody else's. True. So if you're going to do it, that's where the partner really comes in handy.
We work too hard for our money these days.
It's true. You need those second set of eyes.
It's just really, we have to think that way, unfortunately.
Right. Yes, because we're very naive and think everybody's friendly and kind and good and nice,
Right.
and no one would ever take that.
Right.
Oh, heavens no.
If you're going to use cash in the store, don't flash the cash. When you're checking out, be really discreet about how you're taking your money out of your wallet. You don't want to pull all your money out and count it out at the service where you're paying to get out at the checkout. If you need to, before you get to the checkout, figure out how much a ballpark what you spent, and just have that amount ready for the cashier when you get up there.
You're smart.
Again, don't flash the cash because people see that and they look for it.
Oh, I bet.
When you're using your debit cards in the store and you have to type in a PIN number, make sure and cover it up. It's always a better suggestion if we're having to do that, and you can make it a credit card to use it as a credit card. There may be a fee attached to it, but it's a lot cheaper than somebody getting your credit card number. So just remember that.
And then, of course, when you get to your car, you have to be very careful about where you put your
Well,
bags.
when we park our cars, let me go back a little bit. When we park our cars, and we want to try to park it, especially in the evening time, or if you're going to be shopping into the evening time, park your cars near an overhead light. Don't park behind large vehicles, vehicles that have tinted windows where it blocks the view from the store. You have to think that way. Try not to park by like large trucks, vans, vehicles that somebody could hop out on you.
True.
And if you come out and you get an uneasy feeling about what you might see near your car, turn around, go back in the store and call the police.
There you go. Turn yourself around.
Right. It's that easy. It's that easy to do. And we respond to everything. And we will not ridicule anybody for any type of call. We never have and never will. So that's our job. We're supposed to make sure that you're safe.
Right, better safe than sorry.
Exactly.
And people, I've seen people that are scammers, whether they're out there. I've been approached with, we're collecting toys for Tots out in front of a store.
They're
and
laying in wait
not.
during this time of the year,
Opportunists.
And back to the
That's right.
cars. If you're shopping and you've purchased in one store and you're going to another store, if you don't have a trunk available, you always want to carry a dark colored blanket with you and put as much stuff as you can in the floorboard and cover it with that blanket. You want to use a dark colored blanket because it blends in better with the car. It doesn't stick out. You use a pink blanket or a white blanket, it's going to stick out.
Neon Snoopy.
Obviously, the trunk's the best spot to put stuff. Doesn't guarantee its safety, but we want to make it harder because we want to make ourselves a harder target. So we don't have a trunk on our vehicle, so we utilize the blanket method.
Very smart.
So
okay, and so we have just a couple minutes left, but let's touch on online safety.
Shop online with trusted sites. It's a bad time of year to go looking for deals and buying coupons. If you're trying to apply for a coupon and they're asking for a bunch of information, don't apply for it.
It's not worth it.
It's not worth it.
It's a scam.
It's a scam. Again, use your sites that you've used in the past, and that'll help a lot. Amazon or whatever you use, whatever you use. When you have your packages coming to your house, have a plan in place. A lot of these, I know for sure, Amazon, FedEx, UPS, you can actually register online and have a pre-designated drop-off point, like a back deck.
Yes.
something like that. And these companies have other options out there that you can explore personally that I can't recommend or talk about. So, but they have that in place. If you can't do that, have a neighbor watch.
There you go.
They're going to tell you when it's coming.
So, yeah, have a trusted neighbor,
because
or friend, or
there are
someone
porch
else there.
pirates.
Oh yeah, they're waiting.
I wanted to add something just real quick on this. Those are all great, and I think if we implement some of that, it's going to keep us safe through the holidays, and we have a very good year and a good holidays. But also think about the cold weather coming up, and just carry extra blankets, carry extra clothing, leave them in the car. You know, flares, lights. Make sure you have what you need in case you get stranded or you know.
Have an emergency kit. My mother makes sure I have an emergency kit every winter.
That's exactly right.
She's on it. I'm on it.
Yeah.
It may take forever for AAA to get there, so you better have your emergency kit, or you're out in the
If we
middle
do
of
everything
nowhere.
Lieutenant Holman said, and you know, just keep an eye out, I think everybody will have a safe holiday.
And if
have
you
to be
forget your cell phone, turn around and go get it.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Because those are important.
Yeah, you have to be able to dial.
Unfortunately, these days they're
911.
important.
Yes.
Right.
You have to be able to dial 911. All right. Well, these have all been such great tips. You've got me. I've been thinking of all the things I've been doing wrong, so I'll be much more careful when I'm out shopping, because I do.
We've all done it too.
Well, I'm a Pollyanna, and I do. I think that everybody is good and kind, and it's the best, the happiest time of the year.
That's true.
So thank you
true.
very much for those great tips.
Thank you for having us.
Well, you're welcome. We appreciate you implementing Handle with Care. That's going to be a wonderful program for the kids in our community. So thank you for thinking about our smallest and youngest citizens that sometimes are overlooked. Yeah, they're the most important. So thank you for what all of you all do at RPD. Just your team there is phenomenal, and all the great things you do for our community day in and day out. We know both of you have been there for a very long time, so obviously it's because you care and you're with a great department.
We do, and we love our community.
And we love you too. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate you being here today. Hope you gained some wonderful information today. I know I did, so I hope you'll put that good info to use. And we hope that you'll join us again on HCEC-TV for the next edition of Issues and Insights. Hope you have a great holiday season, and we'll see you next time. I'm Kendra Scott. Have a great day.